And well, to cut the long story short, previously, the night before that night, some robbers came to the house close to my grandfather's house and robbed them. So my aunt, okay, I think I need to say that part. She actually went to buy something to smoke and to drink. And then the SARS came, they saw her smoking, saw her drinking, and it was like a chase. I ran for my dear life that day. But unfortunately for her, she wasn't as good as I was. She was caught. But the point I'm trying to make here now is that I was actually rescued by some persons that I had no idea. It was like 12 midnight, after 12 at night. And if those guys were actually doing the jungle justice thing, I don't think I'll be here today. Because even before we start explaining, before we start saying anything, I think they would have set us ablaze. So my question now is, why jungle justice? Why do people always feel jungle justice is the way out to curtail or curb insecurity or criminality in our societies, in our communities? What if that person actually is just someone that was at the wrong place at the wrong time? And then jungle justice is being carried out on that person. How do you justify the death of that person? But I would love to hear from you. I just gave you some stories of some things. These are just the ones that was reported. There are 1,000,001 issues like this going on that basically people don't even want to talk about it because they feel, well, now waiting they find. You don't get them. Why jungle justice? That's my first question for the evening. I would love to hear from each and every one of you. I'd love to hear us talk about this issue of jungle justice because it's something that happens in our community. And I think some months back, when all this issue of insecurity was actually at its peak, some persons called in and offered or talked about things like this. And I still wonder, why? Why do we always feel jungle justice is always the way out? Meanwhile, something pretty interesting happened in Benin City. And I believe you would love to hear that one. I don't know if you've heard, there are some particular set of chiefs that actually don't step their feet into Benin in Edo State. They are not allowed to step into Benin itself. And something actually happened. You'll get that just here on the program. But it's your program, it's your show. We'd love to hear from you. Let's know what exactly is going on in your community. While I still get to hear from you, why do people always subscribe to Jungle Justice? The number is 0817-0000951 or 0810-9510-951. You could also send a text message or a WhatsApp message to the number 0701-933-9962. Let's hear from you. Please don't forget, most importantly, don't forget it's an eyewitness report show. So we'd love to get your eyewitness report while you react to other things happening or other stories that will be given here on the program. 95.1 FM, good evening.
Yes. Hello, my sister. Good evening.
Good evening to you. Welcome.
Yes, this is Lord Lugard from Port Harcourt.
Lord Lugard, it's good to hear from you.
Thank you. You see, this jungle justice issue, actually, it's not advisable for one to be a partaker. But one of the major challenges we are facing, especially in the society, in our country now, even if you catch the person red-handed, hand over to police, don't be surprised that after 2-3 days you will see the person wandering around. You understand me?
Okay.
So by the time you taking such risk to hand over the person to police, tomorrow you see that person moving around. How secure are you? It means that your life now is at stake. That is why most of the time some people take laws into their hand. And the security forces also know these people. Once you hand them over to police, tomorrow they will be freed. Even in a law court, you will hear there is no tangible evidence. I'm here releasing them, granting them bail. You will see them moving around. It doesn't make sense. But,
so does that justify the fact that people actually go ahead to give punishment to others on their own?
It is due to anger. If you take a look at what is going on in the society, once you hear somebody is a kidnapper, is a robber, is this, you would hesitate.
Once you hear, how sure are you that that person is actually an armed robber or a thief?
No, but at least.
So you don't. There's no point. There's no point trying to find out exactly what happened, why they're calling. So I can just wake up one morning, just like the story I gave to you. What if those people actually just lynched on me, and then today where will I be?
Actually, but those people are reasonable ones. They are reasonable.
Okay.
But
they're actually reasonable lynchers.
If you enter wrong hand, there will be a problem. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Good evening. 95.1 FM.
Good evening.
Good evening to you. Iwabrama.
Yes, good evening. I walk.
Work day. Thank God. How are your side?
No, I
All right.
I beg, as far as I'm concerned, because I have never even seen government for that my road, and I will still talking about the road.
Okay.
Because I will not tire until I see the government come and do our road. Not our road, as the room of the world, that was important. The government come and help us. We never even see even one person, when we say the government person, who come to our place to see what would they talk. The somehow would they talk. You know, that kind of a thing. We are begging the government, light will not get, school will not get, road will not get, water will not get. All these things, now what government supposed to do for us? So we are not seeing any government presence in our community. Even the school, very important, what they worry me, this road and the school. I don't know whether our community like that will not get school again. Our community like that will not get road. So I don't know. And we are fighting. All these farm, we are going farm. We don't have any work than to go that farm. You know, to carry something come out from the farm. Very important for us. Let government come and help us. Eventually, this light issue at the room again. This is the light issue. I see they talk this light. They don't want even talk about the light. We are not hearing. Come like government don't carry their ear, block their ear finish. But what do we talk about light? I don't know whether their ear block. I don't know. All the company people, all this company who are in this room, why them block their ear? I don't know. I don't know how company will not help the community what they inside. But because of the government they live for this community, let them live for the community so that they will come out, so that they will fight for the light. I don't know. So let them help us. Let them help us. And legally, this is my community people. I beg, we know that these boys, I'm tired, they will not come again. Let them come back. So that the community will be at the community.
Which of the community? Rumodogo.
Rumodogo now.
Okay.
These are my Rumodogo.
Okay.
What I know, so many people never still go for the community. But so many don't go to the community.
Okay.
Let them come back and know how to make peace for that community. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Iwabrama, for calling in there. With all the issues from his community, road, electricity, health center, school, and the rest of it. They need government presence. We'll be right back. Keep it locked down. It's still Today 95.1 FM.
Bud X Bars is here. 15 bars, 5 weeks with the kings of the turntables. DJ Consequence, DJ Nana, DJ E Cool, and DJ Crowd Controller. Experience epic parties every weekend from the 3rd of May. Follow at Budweiser Nigeria for updates. Be a king.
95.1 FM, voice of the people.
And we're back.
Welcome back. It's still Area Talk here on Today 95.1 FM. We just went on a very short commercial, but it's still your program. Call in and let's hear what exactly is happening in your community. Tell us what's going on, what latest is happening, and please, not just bad news. If anything good happened in your community, we'd also love to get reports like that. Meanwhile, I told you something happened in Benin City, Edo State. So the chief priest of Okwahia Shrine, Osara John Uswanlele, the Ohe Nkoni Neyedo, was arrested and detained at the Edo Police Headquarters in Benin City. So it was gathered that with the priest's detention, an age-long tradition which says the Ohe Nkoni does not enter Benin. The abode of the Oba had been desecrated. So the tradition was started in the 15th century by Oba Ewere the Great. The Okwahie Shrine is located at Evuo in Ohunwode local government area, and as part of coronation rite, the chief priest would have a symbolic wrestle with the crown prince. Both of them would go opposite ways, never to see each other again once the crown prince becomes the Oba. So trouble started as of last week when operatives of the anti-cultism unit stormed a Wakoi community following on a petition by John Elvis, aka Ateka, an ex-official of the Band Community Development Association. So the secretary of Ebuakoi community, Chief Paul Ajayi, said the policeman shot sporadically and insisted on taking Chief Priest Usunalele to Benin City, despite pleas that the man does not enter Benin or he will die. So Chief Ajayi said a strange and mysterious downpour accompanied by violent wind, thunder and lightning were part of the sign of desecration. According to him, the Oba got the signs of desecration and presence of Ohen Okoni and sent mysteries to the police commissioner Damalam Abubakar after confirming that the chief priest was in Benin. 3 dogs were slaughtered and other sacrifices carried out near the police headquarters before the Ohen Okoni was released. So the palace sources said a list of items has been given to the police for cleansing sacrifice. Sacrifice on the land. The items include 14 native cows, tortoise, sheep, goats, cocks, amongst others. The police source said the commissioner has ordered policemen involved in the arrest of Ohen Nkoni to be detained. So Chief Ajayi told reporters that a special doctor is assigned to treat the chief priest at home instead of taking him to Benin for medical attention. So he then called on the police to tighten security around the chief priest as other groups were still threatening to cause mayhem. The police spokesperson Chidi Wabuzo insisted on waiting for the commissioner of police to address a news conference before making comments on it. Now, this was reported by The Nations, where tradition and law meet each other and they're supposed to work hand in hand. It's really interesting. I spoke with some persons from that part of the land, and they were like, actually, that chief priest himself is not supposed to step feet into Benin City. And I wonder why the police actually took him there. 95.1 FM, good evening.
Hello.
Hello, good evening. Welcome.
Good evening. My name is Peter.
Peter, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you. One thing with that instance that this is the government era. This is the Igbo time. And the other thing were initiated during the old time before the all these Igbo people. But you see that a lot of things, Igbo culture and the things have defied a lot of things.
So you think that's defiling?
It's automatically because you can.
Oh dear, sorry, we lost you there. 95. Oh dear. Okay, it's still 081700000951, or you could also call in on 0810-951-0951. Text message, WhatsApp message sent to the number 0701-933-9962. 95.1 FM, good evening.
Hello, Bushi.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. How is the work?
It's going great, thank you.
Okay. So please, Bushi, I want to still emphasize, I'm Reverend Stanley by name. I still want to emphasize on that also community health center that the government has abandoned and it's nearly falling. Secondly, please, we don't have roads. The road, they just stop on the way, and the internal part to go to the market, women fall into this thing with their goods and garage. So it becomes a problem. And what about it? This is that throughout the inspection of the electricity has gone all around everywhere. But also the community has never witnessed electricity.
Also, the community is in what local government is that?
It's a local government.
Okay.
We have not witnessed electricity since we are giving to all the whole community. So I'm asking that we please let Mr. Project help us to make sure we get light like other ones. We are still River State and not we are not other people. River State, I will also vote during elections. So this is. Secondly, please, there is a company in my place, they have Nigerian Limited. Please, I don't know why in the whole of their offices they never employed any of the person, any of the indigenous. But other landlord communities, who are host communities, other host communities, all their representatives are in the office. But they only give to our children field work, production work, where there are heat and every other thing. But they don't allow our children to work in the office.
Is it something they don't allow? Like it's stamped and sealed that no person would work there, or it's just that they haven't gotten anyone qualified enough to take those kind of jobs?
No, the issue is that my people have been applying, but the issue is that the managers, they use the chances that they are supposed to give to the host communities and employ their brothers who are non-indigenous. It's boring.
Okay.
When we apply, they will say there is no chance, but by tomorrow they will employ another people. It's wrong.
All right.
So they should please change, not a change.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for calling in.
God bless you.
You too. Good evening.
Hello.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening, Buchi. Yeah,
Good evening to you.
Yeah. My name is Chima, calling from Port Harcourt.
Chima, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Yes, Buchi, let me commend my brother, Ewa Broma. They have been doing quite well. But there are sometimes what I call traffic on your listing. Buchi, you know, this our community, like I told you the last time, that my school of thought had never changed on what it is. Yes, because I used to think that leadership is whosoever has assumed leadership, irrespective of wherever you came from, the ethnic group, the village you came from, you are meant to be a leader, and your leadership, everyone has to be a beneficiary. But I was wrong in that school of thought. It has shown clearly that if you don't have anybody in government, nothing for you, nothing. Now, let me give you an example. Yeah, you know that in Ndoni, before you get to Ndoni, before the part of Odili, Ndoni has like this bridge. They normally carry pontoon to cross motor to the other side of Ndoni, but immediately he assumed power, they were able to do. I'm just taking an example. It's not for anything, but they were able to access that community by car, by road. It was no longer using this thing to cross motor. Now, Gucci, my community is a victim of a leadership that we don't have. That nobody comes from my community had never assumed any position. That's why we are suffering what we are suffering today. Nobody cares. You understand? Okay. Now, we have so many communities that even have internal roads in their own community. After the road that leads to the community, now it's a community, just 1 kilometer road to the community. Yet, we are still crying since last year. But one thing, that idea is a time will come, which I believe, which I'm extremely optimistic, that a sons and daughters of Umorogo will find themselves in the political space of River State, whereby we too can be able to solve our problems. Because what we are seeing today is as if that our community, nothing is happening. It's as if we are not part of River State. It's as if that we are not part of this world. A community that falls within the purview where River State governs. My community have a right of way. Where River State government collects revenue from LNG, we have right of way. So I see no reason why River State government will abandon such community to remain in darkness. Nothing is happening. No water in my community. Not even school. The school that was built by bad father administration, it came out to the extent, as I talk to you, I took it to that place, the grass have overgrown everywhere. As you can see, Rumorogo cannot reckon any school, no primary, secondary, nothing is in my community. But yet, we have a right of way where the government collects money, collect revenue from LNG.
Okay.
But we are still begging them. We are not going to shut up.
If you like, start me APC or any party. I don't belong to any party, but we must continue. But the time we come that it will get out of the, or it will get out from the 80s, it will go to another level.
All right.
Not without the law, but it will be within the confines of the law.
Okay.
But we must demand what belongs to us. God bless Nigeria. Thank you.
Yeah, God bless Nigeria and God bless us all. Let's hear from you what is happening in your community, be it electricity, water, road, drainages, whatever it is. Let's hear what is going on in your community. You're hearing from other communities. Well, so far, thank God, we haven't gotten any reports of insecurity or anything. But let's know what's happening in your community. 95.1 FM, good evening.
Hello, Buki.
Hello, good evening to you. Ogaloki.
Good evening.
Gostem. Gostem, welcome.
Thank you, Buki. I thank God you later add the dog food. I did they call the other line before. Then I stopped. You make it just take one stone, you commode the two beds.
Okay.
So, you see, this thing, this one that is about the chief priest. This was my first time now hearing that. This is the one that I know that will not come to Benin. That's the first son of the Oba. The first son of the Oba. That's although I'm not from Benin. I'm from Esa.
Okay.
I'm not from Benin.
Okay.
But the one that I know that are not supposed to come in Benin till the father died is the first son of the Oba of Benin. But this one now that I hear now, then I will go find out to know this thing very well. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
For the jungle,
the jungle justice.
For the jungle own, is very, very good, my sister. Only the thing they will find, when they catch somebody, let them carry out the investigation first. Before they kill
So
the
who
person.
wants to now carry out the investigation? The same persons that want to lynch on the person.
See how they go carry out. Like if you see somebody now, they steal a goat. You don't go know that the person you see the goat for your hand. If na the person if you see na fowl, you go know say na this person see this fowl for your hand. Now that one the talk. Now that one be the investigation.
So why do you think that's actually the way out?
So that you want to go there free. If you not do like that, see somebody call you now. Say, when you hand over it to police, the following day you see the person there, he can't walk past you. He can't walk too like he pass where you do. You went down hand over somebody to police yesterday. But when you find out that you say this person now what this going for hand, you see him for in her head and then you hold up. And that one go with the goat, go with the fowl, so that land go clean. That's all. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ogagos Time, for calling in. Good evening. Oh dear, sorry we lost that one. You could try calling back. Let's get your reports, your eyewitness reports, or your reaction to any of the stories or any reports that we've gotten so far here on Area Talk. Just for clarification, although we get 1,000,001 reports here, eyewitness reports, as much as they're not verified and confirmed, but we would want to believe that that's exactly what is happening. And please, when you call in on Area Talk, call in and don't fabricate any story. Just give us the news as it is. Give us the reports as it is. If it is not real, there's no point calling or saying anything about it. Good evening.
Hello.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. Yeah, it's me. I'm calling you from DJ. Nobody's above the law.
Welcome.
Yeah, like my area report. Yesterday, day before yesterday, the North Anchor in our community concerning Elele shooting range. So I want
concerning what?
Elele Amebara shooting range.
Okay, yeah.
So in case of anybody that enters our community, maybe they should not panic. They say the people that they found road linked to that Elele Amebara for 4 days, they will not go to France to avoid penetration of Gilead. So it happened normally since the barracks circulation understand.
Okay.
The rate of the gun shooting for the range so that people will not be scared. I said, let me put it as an example, understand. The shooting is going on. Today is 2 days. Couple of
Okay. But currently in the community, everybody are just going about their normal. It's not affecting other businesses, right?
Yes, in case of anybody that don't know, so that they will not target.
Okay.
Yeah, the shooting is going to be normally for the LLM, so they have now Sankara from our Royal Majesty.
All
So
right.
everybody's normal.
All right. Thank you very much for that one. Stay tuned. We're still here.
Port Harcourt, Bud X Bars is here. 15 bars, 5 weeks with the kings of the turntables. DJ Consequence, DJ Nana, DJ E Cool, and DJ Crowd Controller. Experience epic parties every weekend from the 3rd of May. Follow at Budweiser Nigeria for updates. Be a king.
95.1 FM, Voice of the People.
And we're back.
.1 FM. Good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening to you.
My name is Olo Lucky, calling you from Mba in Eche.
Okay. Welcome to Area Talk.
Please, Buti in Amako Mba in Eche. We don't have school, primary school. They are in Amako. We don't have primary school. We don't have roads. You understand?
Okay.
And we are answering River State. I think it's uncalled for.
What do you want to answer before?
And now, what I want to complain, my point now is, in Amakumba, the primary school, the community primary school in Amakumba, I think it's better for we not to say it's an animal training school than primary school. You understand?
Why?
Yes, because there's nothing to show that this is school. This is a government, this is a River State.
The children
school.
still attend the school?
Yes, and each time we'll keep on recording snake, all this, and there's no different type of this.
But those are things you could actually, those are things the community can actually put their hand. I'm not saying you shouldn't call on governments, don't get me wrong.
Okay.
But
No,
if it's issues of snakes and tidying up the environment, why not the community do something about it?
No, the community on their own are still trying their best. Like at Monday, at least the school, the community sends plastic seats and all that. So the community on their own. But we are calling on government to come and build the school, to come and make sure that these schools look like a government-owned school, a River State-owned school. And we don't have roads. We don't have roads from Okudumba, Umombremba, Amakumba to Okehi. We don't have roads. With no light. In fact, it seems as if we are in another different river state.
Which of the river states is that one?
Maybe a own river state. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm calling on our brother. I think advisor, our brother who is also an advisor on youth affairs on NDDC, Mr. Charles Anyang, to come and help us. Let us see a government present. Governor Nyesom Wike, all our sons and daughters who can help us. We also have our House of Assembly member there who is representing us. Please, you people should come. You people should come and help your people. Amakumba, we don't have light, we don't have road, we don't have school. Okudumba, we don't have road, we don't have school, we don't have light. Nothing to show that, yes, this community will also part of River State. Thank you so much, Buchi.
All right, thank you very much for calling in. That's from Amakumba Eche. The issue of school, their primary school, he compared it to where they trained animals. 95.1 FM, good evening.
Buchi, good evening.
Welcome. How are you doing?
I'm fine, my sister Buchi.
B.O.B., right?
Yeah, it's
All
me.
right. Welcome.
I want to do something.
BOB, where are you calling me from today?
I'm calling from Bayaka,
Oh, yeah, no. Where are you calling from? Anyone you say is the one I'll take.
Anyone, I'll tell you now. Let me tell you something. There's a man in my place. His children ask him, hey, Daddy, why didn't you leave the type of house that our...
Is this an area
man...
report or you're trying to make a point?
Okay.
Okay.
It's a area report and the point. Why don't you do that of house and buy television like the other man killed and where we are going every day to watch? The man told the children, at the time that they are coming to call us to go to school, my father said I should not go to school. I should go into farm. But the other man, his son, allowed his son to go to school. That is why I was able to be where he is and do that type of house. So you know what will happen. Now you have to read very well. So that when you 10 minutes, 20 minutes from now, you also do that type of house.
Okay, so how does this work?
So now what I'm trying to say is this.
Okay.
The presence of government, from what I know, will be firstly attracted to any community, like Chima said. If there are people in that community that can draw attention of government, I know a politician in my place wherein governor, nobody, the village have not called one on radio, but governor tied the road straight to his own gate. We are not begging him to start the whole community around because there's a personality there. So that I want to advise that people should make their children go to school, read and write, not carry gun. That is again.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Okay. Good evening.
Hello.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, Buchi.
Welcome.
Yes, so I call you from Ahoda. My name is Chinemike.
Chinemike, it's good to hear from you today. Go ahead.
Yes. I come from a community called Ekpeye in Ahoda West.
Is this the same thing with Ekpeye land? Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, I was asking if it's the same with Ekpeye land.
Yes.
Okay.
So,
go ahead, I'm listening.
We are suffering in Ekpeye. We have a fuel station, Shell fuel station. As I'm talking to you, since 1950 something, we don't have solar in Ekpeye. We don't have roads. We don't have town hall. We don't have market. And Shell is still taking our oil. We don't have anybody in Shell. This is the thing I want to complain to you today. To have so many cars in Ekpeye. As I'm talking to you now, go to Ekpeye, nothing is happening. A flow station. You know what they call flow station? We have it. But we don't have anybody in Shell. We don't have a contractor. This is suffering will suffer in this case. We are suffering in this case. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. From Ekpeye land, he says we are suffering in this state. All right, let's take a look at some messages from the text message portal. This one says, Buchi, good evening. I want to use this medium to thank the government of River State in general and Ministry of Education in particular for the approval of Community Secondary School Afara Eche in Eche local government area. Anele Chibueze Afara Eche. Okay, that's good. This one says, Buchi, my area reports. It's taking a while to open. It says, Buchi, my area report is that we, the entire second pipeline from Apu Junction, are not happy over our road at Rupboko. That is a dead trap. We beg our able governor, Mr. Project, and the acting NDDC, Mr. Nelson, to come and assist us and put smile on our faces before this raining season flood that is fast approaching. Please, thanks. That's coming from Bekwele. And this one says, Buchi, my report concerns the suspended but now recalled local government chairman and the security in Auda East immediately after the suspension and following a new security arrangement in the Auda East local government. We have been sleeping with our two eyes closed, though I thank God for the recall of my local government chairman. I pray that he should sustain the tempo of peace in Auda East local government area that he's coming back to meet. That's coming from Tony Ameka. Tony, thank you very much for that one. Yeah, yesterday there were so many calls pertaining, they were just called back. They were recalled and immediately things are being put in place. It seems like things are just working very fine since they recall and everything. And I asked, do you feel when we have issues like this, probably suspension and calling back is actually a way forward that would actually make some persons sit up and pay more attention to what they were supposed to had been doing. Just a question though. All right, this other one says, this coming from Comrade EU Ernest from Osiakbo in Onelga. Buchimera talk is on allocation of funds to education, scholarship, skill acquisition programs, positive empowerment, and good job creation, which were the likes of skills acquisition program of the former governor Peter Odili had empowered youth, which made my sister a fashion designer after her secondary school education. Today, no program for the youth other than cultism and drug abuse and addiction. There is this job of pipeline security program in my area in which community Osiakbu is excluded. Secondly, the proposed vocational schools by Governor Wike at Onelga along Palace Road, Omoko, has been abandoned for years now. This would have empowered the youth of Onelga. I'm begging the governor to please complete this project so that Onelga people can learn skills from there. That one's coming from Comrade AU Ernest. All right, we'll go on the short commercial. We'll be right back. When we get back, we'll take your calls. We'll dive straight up to the phone lines and then back to the text message portal. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Port Harcourt, Bud X Bars is here. 15 bars, 5 weeks with the kings of the turntables. DJ Consequence, DJ Nana, DJ E Cool, and DJ Crowd Controller. Experience epic parties every weekend from the 3rd of May. Follow at Budweiser Nigeria for updates. Be a king.
From that short commercial, it's your area talk here on Today 95.1 FM. I've been your host. My name is Buchi Rafwa. We have less than 14 minutes to the top of the hour. Let's see how many reports we can gather before then. And we talked about the issue of jungle justice. And the question is, why jungle justice? Why do we always go on lynching on people, just giving justice like that? Without investigation, without hearing from them, someone just raises alarm, thief, and then the next thing is everybody are lynching on that person. Sticks, bottles, fuel is pouring, fire is lit up, and so many things. Why jungle justice? Why do we always feel that that's the way out? How would you live with the fact that you actually did that to an innocent person? I'd love to hear from you on that one. Meanwhile, the owners of speedboats applying the Okrika route have blamed the spat of sea pirates attack on unknown individuals who sail from neighboring states to attack boats in River State. So the speedboat owners came up with this as residents of Okrika in Okrika local government area now live in fear due to constant attack by sea pirates. So the chairman of Speedboat Owners Association of Okrika, gentleman Amabibi George Otta, in an interview with our correspondent Elfreda, lamented that attack on speedboats have become a regular occurrence, adding sea pirates now use Taraba or Marine Creek to Marine Base Creek as their hideout to attack commuters. So gentleman Amabibi also decried the level of debris on the waterways which gets in the way of boats, making them vulnerable for attack. The chairman of Speedboats Drivers Union, Okrika Gibson Clement, narrated how debris aided the killing of a boat driver while trying to escape sea pirates. But when contacted, the chairman of Okrika local government area promised to react to the development. So that's what's happening at Okrika now. If you're listening and you're from Okrika, I would love to hear from you. Would love to hear directly from you as an eyewitness. Tell us what is going on there, what you've witnessed, or things you get to hear that are actually factual. We'd love to hear from you on that one. 95.1 FM, good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening to you.
Trumpet from Umuye.
Trumpet, how are you doing?
I'm fine. How's work going?
Work is great. How is yours?
Well, thank God for
Welcome
today.
to
Thank
Area
God.
Talk.
Thank you, Buchi, my sister.
All right, go ahead, please.
I start from jungle justice, my sister. You see, there is type of criminal you will catch. You prefer jungle justice.
What type of criminal is that? A criminal is not a criminal, whether big or small. They are all criminals.
There is the one that have their heart is a back. Those ones that
have what?
And their heart is a back. Their heart is not front, it's a back.
Okay.
Those ones that they have gone to police station more than 2 times, even more than once. That those ones that are arrested, taken to station, and they'll be released without you knowing now, without you know how they were released. Those particular ones, when you call to them second one, is the best way is jungle justice.
What if they're just at the wrong place at the wrong time and they actually didn't do anything?
My sister, a criminal is always a criminal.
No, I don't agree with you on that one.
I am telling you that is some criminal you will catch. The jungle justice will be the way out. Because some people, when you lead them to station, they will be released them, and after 1 week, you will pack out from that community. Either you pack out or you face the consequences.
Have you experienced something like this before?
My sister, I've experienced it. These guys arresting our community. In fact, whenever he was arrested, people would sleep. When we heard that he was released, everybody would run away. So some people like that, by luckily God, by God's grace, will cut in again. My sister, jungle justice will be the best way out. Anyway, that one should be my own taking. I'm talking about what happened in my community. I want my sister. In fact, what River State government Eugene Eche is unfair. Eche local government is the way River State government is maltreating us is unfair.
You think you're being maltreated?
Yes, there is no presence of the government in our community. Look at the road that our able project governor have awarded and started. By this time, my sister, you can't pass that road. Although for Apo Kumoye, it's on go area by this time of Ram. The road has been abandoned. You see, we are suffering, talking of life. I don't know how many years it will take us to. Since I was born 30 years right now, I never experienced NEPA in Kumoye community. I don't know when I'm going to see it. Is it when my grandchildren begin to call me grandpapa? I think the government of the River State should come to our help. We are part of the revealing. Sometimes when I travel out of the state, I don't used to answer River State because it shame me too much. When my friends ask me they want to come and visit me, sometimes I decide not to come because of the presence of government is not in my community. It's not especially in a Cape. I don't know what local government done to them. So I beg Mr. President to come to our end. We don't have lights, we don't have roads. How can the community develop? This is the things that help community to develop. We go to market, we come to market, no people to buy because there is no road for us to come. So that is it. We also, the government should come to our help and help us. Umuye is suffering from this state. Thank you. I remember Mr. Trumpet from Umuye.
All right, Trumpets, thank you very much for calling in. Quickly back to the text message portal before we delve back to the phone line. This one says, my report is that of Norwegia's inability to transfer primary healthcare salary pay points from local governments to state and commence payments by the state as promised on or before January, and this is May now. Non-payment of 13,000 teachers, 3 months arrears, non-pay of 2016 February March teachers' salaries, refusal to pay students' bursary is worrisome. We want Wike to show sincerity for once and fulfill the promises he made to the health and education workers. That's coming from Martha in Port Harcourt. All right, Martha. This one says, Buchi, at Abara Eche, my brother's farm cattle have destroyed the crops. If you attack the cattle, the rearers have dangerous weapons to attack you. That's coming from Pastor Godi. All right, Godi. Noted. Thank you very much. Afaraichi. All right, moving on to the next one. This one says, good evening, Buchi. My name is Aniebo Peter from Akboko. The road that the governor awarded have turned to death trap. The Akboko do for Umweyo Road. The contractor handling the road is doing nothing. We also need lights in Akboko. And finally, this one says, Buchi, all those people complaining of abandonment, don't they have reps in House of Assembly or NAS? That's coming from Stallon. Stallon. Well, 95.1 FM. Good evening.
Good evening, Bushi.
Good evening. Welcome.
This is CJ from Port Harcourt.
CJ, welcome. How are you doing?
I'm okay. Welcome.
Work is great. How is yours?
Okay. My own area report is a good news.
Ah, hallelujah. I'm listening.
Yes. We are staying in Woji area.
Mm-hmm.
The road, I have been complaining about the road. But good news today is they have tied the road. They have tied the road, the ring road in that Woji, near that Woji town hall.
Okay.
We have a new brown road in that area now.
Okay.
We will not suffer the erosion we are suffering along that road. So I want to use this opportunity to thank Mr. Project and the local government chairman. At least we that stay in that area now, we are happy. Now we will drive without the erosion because that last season, we suffer a lot along
What
that
do you say, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. In that mini Woji area. So we are happy now. Let the Mr. Project, we have seen his hand, let him continue
Okay.
to support him.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, station, for giving us opportunity to be airing this and they are hearing it and doing it.
All right. Thank you so much for calling back and giving us the feedbacks. Please, if you have called in and you complain of anything and something is being done about it, would also love to hear those reports. Meanwhile, this person says, why jungle justice? The answer is not far-fetched. Failure of governments to prosecute criminals. Secondly, corruption inside of our police. That's coming from Comrade EU Ernest. Okay. All right. This one says, my area report is that Emo community in Okpeden clan, Abolga, does not have secondary and in need of one because of unbearable suffering, moving a long distance to another community despite. That's coming from Abu. Abu, thank you very much for that one. This one says, my report is about Emoelok Road in Okbeden, Ward 8 in Abua Odua local government area that has been abandoned since 3 years ago, subjecting the people into unbargained difficulty in accessing our communities now that the rainy season has arrived. Fortunately, now that the Abolga deputy chairperson is from that ward, 8, she should tell Governor Wike to compel contractors to go back to site immediately before the rains finally hit hard. Ward 8 believes during her tenure in office, MOA Lock Road will be completed and financial grants will be given to PhD MSc students in the local government as their major achievement in office. Goodman in Abua. And this one says, but the government of Rivers State is owing teachers employed in 2013. Those in senior secondary school session 3 months arrears. Secondary school session 3 months arrears. Mr. Project should pay them. Pastor Gode. Okay, the message is just pouring in. Port Harcourt's lack of work was what caused the insecurity. If Governor Wike will invite Engineer why not just write a letter to him so you guys can talk about that one? Okay, our last call for the evening, 95.1 FM. Good evening.
Yeah, Buchi.
Yeah.
In the area of jungle justice,
Let's hear your name.
I'm still BOB.
Okay. BOB, go on.
The issue of justice, like somebody said, some people don't understand that.
Just tell us what the issue is because we don't have time and you called in before.
The issue is there are spiritual laws. Like the Bible says that he that kill by the sword shall die by the sword. That's what Jesus said when Peter used knife.
So you think the people are actually the ones who...
There are some people that shed blood. And you know that blood speaks The Bible says that when Cain killed Abel.
All right, thank you very much. We don't have much time for the Bible aspect of it, but thank you very much. You said probably it's because you kill by the sword, you die by the sword. Whose sword are you supposed to die by? Did the Bible just specify that one? I don't know. But thank you very much for doing area talk with me. We have to go. We are out of time. We'll be back here tomorrow still. Keep all the reports, all your reactions, and all your eyewitness reports. Tomorrow we'll be taking each and every one of them. I tried as much as possible to take all the messages today because we're always lagging behind when it comes to taking text messages. We're always on the phone line. But thank you very much for doing area talk with me. Stay safe, stay happy, do the right thing, and keep listening to Today 95.1 FM, the voice of the people. Enjoy the rest of your evening. News updates is coming up next.
Port Harcourt, Bud X Bars is here. 15 bars, 5 weeks with the kings of the turntables. DJ Consequence, DJ Nana, DJ E Cool, and DJ Crowd Controller. Experience epic parties every weekend from the 3rd of May. Follow at Budweiser Nigeria for updates. Be a king.
Talk radio. I listen to a lot of talk radio.
95.1 FM.
Today, 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt. News update.
Good evening, here's the news update at 8 on Today 95.1 FM. I am Kala Dakoribatubo. River State Governor Yesom Wike has accused the General Officer commanding the 6th Division of the Nigerian Army, Major General Jamil Sam, of running an illegal oil bunkering squad. The governor alleged that the aim of the GOC was to finance his quest to be appointed the Chief of Army Staff. Governor Wike, in a statement issued by his special assistant on electronic media, declared that any attempt to appoint the GOC of the 6th Division of the Nigerian Army as the Chief of Army Staff would spell doom for the nation's failing security architecture. The governor spoke during a courtesy visit by the commander of Joint Task Force Operation Delta Safe, Real Admiral Akinjide Akinrinade, at the government house in Port Harcourt. He accused the GOC of compromising security in River State through illegal actions. Governor Wike also alleged that the Rivers people had stopped the GOC and his accomplices from allegedly imposing a governor on the state during the elections. Authorities of the Korea local government area of River State may be heading for a showdown with the Niger Delta Development Commission over the issue of electrification. Information has it that the NDDC awarded a contract to reconnect power lines in some parts of the Korea local government area. But the action of the NDDC is not going down well with the chairman of Ikore local government, Samuel Wanosike, who accused the commission of trying to hijack the council's project. He claimed that the NDDC intends to use the power project to score political points.
And because development is coming towards this direction, that there is need to improve the line. And again, NDDC has also agreed that they are going to provide free 20,000 meters to indigents of Ikore local government. And we believe it's a welcome development. NDDC is not a personal venture of anybody. It is Niger Delta Development Commission. And it's for the Niger Delta people. It's to improve the living condition of the people of the Niger Delta. The line that we have rehabilitated is the old line that has been existing. But because of the influx of people coming over to our local government and development, we want to agree that that new line, the improvement of that new network, is a welcome development.
The movement for the survival of the Ogoni people has dissociated itself from recent calls for the dissolution of the hydrocarbon pollution and remediation project and its governance structures, including the governing council and the board of trustees of the Ogoni Trust Fund. Mossop described the call as ill-conceived, unpatriotic, and inciting, which should be discountenanced. It said that what needs to be done at this time in the implementation of the UNEP report is for the government to commit itself to ensuring absolute security and confidence building in the communities by ensuring that the project coordinating office and the various structures working for the success of the project undertake their respective assignments unhindered. Mossop said IPREP has been working, which according to it can be verified on the ground where work has commenced in some communities. It said it is imperative, considering the continuous impact and damage on Ogoni people and community, to encourage the process and support the activities by cooperating with efforts directed towards the success of the exercise than engaging in or calling for actions that would impede or cause serious setback to the cleanup project in the area. Mosop also said the call for the solution of the IPREP Council was not necessary and is capable of inciting the uninformed audience, as there was no basis for doing so, if not for what he described as selfish reason and desire to truncate the already started process and progress made so far. The position of Mosop was contained in a statement issued by its acting publicity secretary, Sonny Zova. Flood again has returned to the Inkpolo axis of the east-west road in Port Harcourt, causing heavy traffic jam as the rainy season sets in. You will recall that heavy flooding in the area last year had caused the youths of the community to stage a protest on the same road, which led to the death of one person. Several months down the line, there appears to be no solution in sight, which has led residents of the area to cry out for help from the government. A youth leader in the community, Ezekiel Bobby, who spoke to our correspondent, Sandra Kenneth, said the constant flooding in the area has given the community a bad name, as business activities in the area are gradually going down.
At this point in time, it happened last year and it was very serious, and it has started again. Telling about the extent the flood has dent the image of the community is not the right answer. The flood is gradually erasing the name of the community, because if in time to come somebody wants to leave or do any business around here, they will say no, don't go to that place. So that place used to be a waterlogged area. So that is why we are calling the government. It's just a simple thing where they can use their expert and their engineer to see what they can do about it. And we're not just talking about the community alone. That place is face of Port Harcourt.
Our correspondent reports that most of the shops in the area have gone under lock and key due to the flooding. The Federal High Court in Abuja has restrained the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission and other agencies involved in the probe of Senate President Bukola Saraki over corruption allegations. Senator Saraki had filed two separate fundamental rights enforcement suits before the court to challenge the decision of the FCC to seize his houses. Ruling on an ex-party application filed along with the substantive suit by Saraki, Justice Taiwo ordered the anti-corruption body and the other 5 respondents to the suit to stay action on the probe pending the hearing and determination of the motion or notice filed by the applicant. The 6 respondents to the suit affected by the restraining order are the Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, Department of State Services, Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Adamu, EFCC, Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, and Code of Conduct Tribunal. The U.S. State Department has ordered the departure of non-emergency employees from Iraq amid rising tensions between the U.S. and Iraq's neighbor, Iran. Staff at the embassy in Baghdad and the consulate in Ibril must leave as soon as possible on commercial transport. Meanwhile, the German and Dutch armies have suspended training Iraqi soldiers. The U.S. military said on Tuesday that the threat level in the Middle East had been raised in response to intelligence about Iran-backed forces in the region. And that's what we have for you on the bulletin at 8. Thank you for listening. I am Kala Dakarubasibo. Stay tuned. The World Today is up next.
Today's news, today's entertainment, today's sports, today's issues. Today on Today95.1 FM, Port Harcourt.
Talk radio. I listen to a lot of talk radio.
95.1 FM.
This is Today 95.1 FM. To copy this tune, press 9.
This is Today 95.1 FM.
For current news and information, press 5.
They are politicians, all of them. They know what they do.
So they know how they attack each other.
To stay connected all day, press 1.
The person who raised the alarm is the one who made the public know about
it. Good afternoon and welcome to the world news on your premium talk radio station.
We are your premium talk radio station. Today 95.1 FM, the station with a unique dial.
Port Harcourt. Bud X Bars is here. 15 bars, 5 weeks with the kings of the turntables. DJ Consequence, DJ Nana, DJ E Cool, and DJ Crowd Controller. Experience epic parties every weekend from the 3rd of May. Follow at Budweiser Nigeria for updates. Be a king.
He don't come home. Oh yeah, make we go there. He don't come home. Hey, Chief Awoyemi, the director of Awoyemi Herbal Healing Home. That man from Ile-Ife, the cradle of Yorubas at Ife Abure, Omadade Oworemo. Now at Street 2, back of Seco Company, Igruta Port Harcourt. Come there for private consultation, spiritual healing. My people, we must not be careless of any disease, either infectious, deficiency, hereditary, physiological or psychological. All we need is to be guided and conserved. Herbal medicine has potent ingredients that can be used as food to meet medical requirements. We also have machine to trace and know the kind of disease in your body and what to do. Chief Awoyemi Herbal Healing Home at New Stadium Road, back of Seco Company, Igruta Port Harcourt. Call him on 081 341 849 88. Again, 081 341 849 88. Awoyemi Herbal Healing Home, now in Port Harcourt.
This is Today 95.1 FM. To copy this tune, press 9.
This is Today 95.1 FM.
For current news and information, press 5.
They are politicians, all of them. They know what they do.
So they know how they attack each other.
To stay connected all day, press 1.
The person who raised the alarm is the one who made the public know about
Well, good afternoon and welcome to the World News on your Premium Talk Radio.
We are your premium talk radio station. Today 95.1 FM, the station with a unique dial.
This is Today 95.1 FM Port Harcourt, Voice of the People, and it is time again for a rundown of the foreign news stories that made the headlines on the world today. In our package tonight, Sudan Army and protesters agree on a 3-year transition period.
US orders non-emergency government employees to leave Iraq.
Nepal climber scales Mount Everest for record 23rd time.
San Francisco to ban facial recognition by police. I am Buchi Rafua.
And I am Kala Dakurubatsubo. This report from Al Jazeera says that Sudan's military leaders who seized power last month by overthrowing longtime ruler Omar al-Bashir have agreed with opposition groups to a 3-year transition period to transfer power to a fully civilian administration. Speaking to reporters in the early hours of today, Lieutenant General Yasser Al-Attaz said a final agreement on the sharing of power, including the formation of the next ruling body, the Sovereign Council, would be signed with the protest movement for the Alliance for Freedom and Change within 24 hours. We agreed on a transitional period of 3 years, Attaz said. Thousands of protesters have been holding a sit-in outside the army headquarters in the capital Khartoum for weeks, demanding that the army generals who took power after toppling al-Bashir on April 11 step down. The army generals had initially insisted on a 2-year transition period, while the protest leaders wanted 4 years. Atta also said that during the transition period, the parliament would be composed of 300 members, of which 67% would be from Alliance for Freedom and Change, and the rest would be from other political groups. The first 6 months of the transitional period would be allocated to signing peace accords with rebels in the country's war zones, he added.
The United States Department in Baghdad had ordered the departure of non-emergency government employees from Iraq. According to a statement credited to the embassy and the U.S. consulate in Erbil, it said normal visa services at both posts will be temporarily suspended as the U.S. government has limited ability to provide emergency service to U.S. citizens in Iraq. A statement recommended those affected depart by commercial transportation as soon as possible. According to Al Jazeera reports, the alert comes amidst rising tensions between Washington and Tehran, a sign of which was a U.S. decision to send a Patriot missile battery and a Navy amphibious transport dock ship to the Middle East. Last week, Washington said it had detected new and urgent threats from Iran and its proxy forces in the region targeting Americans and American interests. Washington last month blacklisted Iran's Revolutionary Guard as a terrorist group. The U.S. administration reimposed sanctions on Iranian oil exports in November after President Donald Trump unilaterally pulled out of the 2015 nuclear deal between Tehran, Washington, and major world powers. On Wednesday, Iran said it would officially stop fulfilling some commitments under the 2015 deal following an order from its National Security Council. An official in the country's atomic energy body told ISNA news agency that Iran now would not limit its production of enriched uranium and heavy water.
Alabama's Republican-dominated state's Senate has passed a bill to ban nearly all abortions, including cases of rape or incest, as part of a multi-state effort to have the United States Supreme Court reconsider a woman's constitutional right to the procedure. Senators today voted 25-6 for the bill that would make performing an abortion at any stage of pregnancy a felony punishable by up to 99 years or life in prison for the abortion provider. The only exception would be when the woman's health is at serious risk. The Senate also rejected an attempt to add an exception for rape and incest. The amendment was voted down 21-11, with 4 Republicans joining Democrats seeking the amendment. The country's strictest abortion bill was previously approved by the Alabama House of Representatives and will now go to Republican Governor Kay Ivey, who has withheld comment on whether she would sign, but is generally a strong opponent of abortion. According to Al Jazeera, the law would take effect 6 months after being signed by the governor, but is certain to face a legal challenge from the American Civil Liberties Union and other groups which have vowed to sue.
And in the U.S., San Francisco has become the first U.S. city to ban the use of facial recognition technology by police or other government agencies. Officials had voted 8-1 to ban the purchase and use of facial recognition technology by city personnel in a move to regulate tools that local Silicon Valley companies develop. The propensity for facial recognition technology to endanger civil rights and civil liberties substantially overweighs its purported benefits, and the technology will exacerbate racial injustice and threaten our ability to live free of contagious government monitoring, read the legislation. The order, which would also require city departments to submit surveillance technology policies for public vetting, can become final after a second vote next week by the city's Board of Supervisors. The action puts San Francisco at the forefront of increasing discontent in the United States over facial recognition, which government agencies have used for years and now has become more powerful with the rise of cloud computing and artificial intelligence technologies. According to Aaron Paskin, the city supervisor who championed the ban, said the order was not an anti-technology policy. It allows continued use of surveillance tools like security cameras. The district attorney or sheriff can make an appeal to use certain restricted technology in exceptional circumstances as well. Rather, Peskin said, the aim is to protect marginalized groups that could be harmed by the technology. According to AFP, researchers said the service struggles to identify the gender of individuals with darker skin, prompting fears of unjust arrest. Amazon has defended its work and said all users must follow the law. Civil rights groups and companies, including Microsoft Core, which markets a facial recognition service, have called for regulation of the technology in recent months. This has added momentum to the efforts in San Francisco and to a parallel ban reportedly in the works in nearby Auckland.
Drone attacks on a Saudi oil pipeline west of Riyadh have revealed an apparent significant leap in the capabilities of the Ansar Allah fighting group, otherwise known as the Houthis. The Aramco East-West pipeline stretching across the country to the port and oil terminal at Yembu was damaged in two places as pumping stations were hit. The attack was said to have caused a minor damage but alarmed an international community already rattled by the sharp downturn in relations between Iran and the United States. According to Al Jazeera, drones have been increasingly used by the Houthis in operations against the Saudi-led coalition. In July 2018, a drone exploded at Abu Dhabi airport, causing only minor damage but sending a message to the UAE that its economic interests were not invulnerable. In January 2019, a senior intelligence chief along with several officers were killed at the Al Anad Air Force Base just outside Aden by a weaponized drone that exploded above the delegation. Also in March, the Houthis released a video footage of a drone flying past Saudi's Al Shuqaq water treatment and power plant 130 kilometers from the Yemeni border. A UN report submitted to the UN Security Council in January 2018 found compelling evidence that locally produced drones had an almost identical build and capability as the Iranian Qasef-1 UAV or unmanned aerial vehicle.
This one from Al Jazeera says that Iran has officially stopped some commitment under a 2015 nuclear deal with world powers following an order from its National Security Council. Last week, Iran notified China, France, Germany, Russia, and the United Kingdom of its decision to halt some commitment under the nuclear deal, a year after the United Nations unilaterally withdrew from the accord and reimposed sanctions. Under the nuclear deal, Tehran was allowed to produce low-enriched uranium with a 300 kilogram limit and produce heavy water with the stock capped around 130 tons. Tehran could ship the excess amount out of the country for storage or sale. An official in the country's atomic energy body told ISNA, a local news agency, that Iran has no limit from now for the production of enriched uranium and heavy water. Iran's initial moves do not appear to violate the nuclear deal yet, but Iran has warned that unless the world powers protect its economy from U.S. sanctions within 60 days, it would start enriching uranium at a higher level. In a speech broadcast on national television on May 8, Rouhani said Iran wanted to negotiate new terms with remaining partners in the deal, but acknowledged the situation was there. The European Union and the foreign ministers of Germany, France, and Britain said they were still committed to the deal but would not accept ultimatums from Tehran. The deal also caps the level of purity to which Iran can enrich uranium at 3.68%, far below the 90% of weapons grade. It is also well below the 20% level to which Iran enriched uranium before the deal. Iranian Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei said on Tuesday that Tehran does not seek war with the U.S. despite mounting tensions between the two nations. There won't be any war. The Iranian nation has chosen the path of resistance, he said. Neither we nor they seek war. They know it will not be in their interest.
A Nepalese Sherpa climber, Kamirita, has scaled Mount Everest for a 23rd time, breaking his own record for the most successful ascents of the world's highest peak. Rita, a native of Tam village located in the shadow of Mount Everest, reached the 8,850 meters summit with other climbers via the southeast ridge route yesterday, Tourism Department official Mira Acharya said from the base camp. His latest ascent took him to summit clear of two fellow Sherpas who have successfully climbed the peak 21 times, hiking officials said. Achaya said Rita, who goes by his first name Kami, reached the top at 7:50 a.m. and is now descending to lower camps. She said about 30 other climbers were on the way to the summit and were expected to top the peak on Wednesday or Thursday when the weather window is expected to remain open. Rita says he will try and climb the peak 2 more times. I am still strong and want to climb Sagamata 25 times, Kami had told Reuters news agency before leaving for the mountain in March, referring to the Nepali name for Everest. Tourism, which includes mountain climbing, is the main source of income for cash-strapped Nepal, home to 8 of the world's 14 highest mountains.
And the headlines again. Sudan Army and protesters agree on 3-year transition period.
U.S. orders non-emergency government employees to leave Iraq.
Nepal climber scales Mount Everest for record 23rd time.
San Francisco to ban facial recognition by police.
And that story from Nepal concludes tonight's edition of The World Today, as produced by Olawale Sanusi and Alfreda Lerigi of the News Department. Till same time tomorrow, do have a lovely evening. I am Buchi Rafua.
And I am Kala Dakaru Batubo. Good evening.
Today's news, today's entertainment, today's sports, today's issues. Today on Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt.
Talk radio. I listen to a lot of talk radio.
95.1 FM.
The blood we are sharing, there is God, bro. There is God, bro. There is God, bro.
Problems within a community can prevent people from living safe, happy, and productive. Promoting peace in a community is an extraordinary challenge, and it often requires the work and dedication of many community members. However, you can help to promote peace within your community by encouraging good relationships with your neighbors. We must put a stop to killings and taking actions to deal with violence. We know peace works. In fact, peace is more effective than violence. This message is powered by your premium talk radio station. Today, 95.1 FM. Voice of the people.
It's that time on radio. Let's take you into the life and times of men and women who inspire, role models who have shaped the world.
Babatunde Raji Fashola, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, was sworn in as the Honorable Minister of Power, Works and Housing, newly created through an unprecedented consolidation of the 3 hitherto distinct ministries by President Muhammadu Buhari on Wednesday, 11th November 2015. Babatunde Fashola came to the job at the federal level with high acclaim as the immediate past governor of Lagos State, elected the 13th governor of Lagos on the 29th of May 2007, and overwhelmingly re-elected for a second term on the 26th of April 2011. His second term tenure came as a glorious end on May 29, 2015, with the swearing in of Mr. Akinwumi Ambode, his successor from the same All Progressives Congress. Babatunde Raji Fashola was born in Lagos on the 28th of June 1963. He attended Birch Freeman High School, Lagos, and Igbobi College, Lagos. He studied law at the University of Benin, from where he graduated with a Bachelor of Laws LLB Honorable degree in 1987. He is married to Mrs. Abimbola Emanuela Fashola, and they have children. Babatunde Fashola was called to the Nigerian bar in November 1988. He cut his teeth as the barrister in the law firm of Shofunde, Osakwe, Ogundipe, and Belgore as a litigator specializing in chieftaincy matters, land disputes, intellectual property, commercial and criminal law. In August 2004, he was conferred with the rank of the Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Nigeria's highest legal distinction. There is a popular acclamation that Babatunde Raji Fashola during his administration as the governor of Lagos State marked a historic turning point in the life of Lagos as the largest African city. Now, there are 5 most of the significant achievements, and the achievements will be the fight against Ebola. Fashola, in his administration, turned a forthcoming disaster into a public health and public relations success. He took personal control of the process to track down and isolate about 1,000 people feared to have been infected since Patrick Sawyer's coming. He broke off from a pilgrimage to Mecca, flew home, and then set up an Ebola Emergency Operations Center, which led the huge task of monitoring all those possibly infected. A team of 2,000 officials were skilled for the task, which ended knocking on 26,000 doors. At one point, he was briefed up to 10 times a day by disease control experts. He made a point of visiting the country's Ebola Treatment Center, a way of communicating to the Nigerian public that they should not panic needlessly. On the area of education, Fashola gave education the attention it earned. Later, the reintegration and creation of well-furnished new blocks of classrooms, distribution of free textbooks, provision of well-equipped workrooms and libraries, provision of buses for teachers and students to comfort transportation problems, the relaunch of uniformed voluntary administration in the state's public schools, implementation of teachers' salary scale (TSS) for teachers in the state public schools, involvement of the Adopt a School initiative, among others. Some of the rehabilitated schools include Ikoton Senior High School, Alimosho, Girls High School, Agege, Okemaga Junior High School, Mojoda, Amuwo Senior Grammar School, Tomia Community Secondary School, Alagbado. In the area of infrastructural renewal of Lagos, on assumption of administration, Fashola boarded a huge infrastructure renewal of Lagos metropolis. The main focus formed the key city highways. There was great reconstruction work going on at the same time almost all over Lagos. The result was that within the first 4 years of his term, Lagos metropolis wore a new look. Most of the main highways were transformed and painted. New roads were opened up with flyover bridges. State-of-the-art pedestrian bridges were constructed to substitute the run-down old ones. In the area of rural transformation, the Fashola administration also saw a great progress in the rural area as over 110 rural development projects were furnished under the Rural Water and Sanitation structure. At the end of the year 2009, 104 communities were measured for delivery of modified Type A water scheme from the Intervention Fund. Some other achievements are in the rural sphere are the formation of modern abattoirs at Ologi, Okwaba and Liaragi, construction of access roads to link up villages in places like Imude Road, Shibiri Etegni Road, Ajangbadi Ilogbo Road, Agboroko to Igbo Road, Eleri Road, and Ariyo Muyo Tedioshun Road, and so on. His administration also completed 165 rural electrification projects under its Rural Interference Scheme. In the area of public safety and security, towards achieving security as one of the most important preconditions for human existence, the Fashola government not only turned most hideouts and joints that previously served as bases for imposters and armed robbers into beautiful environment, it also established the Lagos State Security Trust Fund to effectively fund the security needs of the state on a sustainable basis. As the governor of Lagos, he did a lot, and his vision is to put Lagos in the same rank with the important cities like Dubai in the UAE, Jakarta in Indonesia, Rio de Janeiro in Brazil, Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia, among others. In Lagos, southwest Nigeria, and Nigeria as a whole, Babatunde Raji Fashola remains a reference point in 21st century governance.
Personality profile. Now you know.
I hope none of you can relate. At a 1.7 grade point average, I was sitting in my mother's beauty shop. They still call it beauty shops now? What they call it now? Yeah, I was sitting in the beauty parlor. I was sitting in my mother's beauty parlor, and I'm looking in the mirror, and I see behind me this woman under the dryer. And every time she looked up, every time I looked up, she was looking at me, just looking me in the eye. And I didn't know who she was, and I said, she said, somebody give me a pen, give me a pencil. I have a prophecy. March 27, 1975. She said, boy, you are going to travel the world and speak to millions of people. Now, mind you, I was flunked out of college. I'm thinking about joining the army. I didn't know what I was going to do, and she's telling me I'm going to travel the world and speak to millions of people. Well, I have traveled the world, and I have spoke to millions of people. But that's not the most important thing, the success that I had. The most important thing is that what she taught me and what she told me that day has stayed with me since. I've been protected. I've been directed. I've been corrected. Fail big. That's right. Fail big. You only live once. So do what you feel passionate about. Take chances professionally. Don't be afraid to fail. There's an old IQ test, was 9 dots, and you had to draw 5 lines with a pencil within these 9 dots without lifting the pencil. The only way to do it was to go outside the box. So don't be afraid to go outside the box. Don't be afraid to think outside the box. Don't be afraid to fail big, to dream big. But remember, dreams without goals are just dreams, and they ultimately fuel disappointment. So have dreams, but have goals. Life goals, yearly goals, monthly goals, daily goals. I try to give myself a goal every day. And understand that to achieve these goals, you must apply discipline and consistency. You have to work at it every day. You have to plan every day. You've heard the saying, we don't plan to fail, we fail to plan. Hard work works. Working really hard is what successful people do. And in this text, tweet, twerk world that you've grown up in, remember, just because you're doing a lot more doesn't mean you're getting a lot more done. Remember that. Just because you're doing a lot more doesn't mean you're getting a lot more done. Don't confuse movement with progress. My mother told me, she said, yeah, because you can run in place all the time and never get anywhere. So continue to strive, continue to have goals, continue to progress. And anything you want good, you can have. So claim it. Work hard to get it. When you get it, reach back. Pull someone else up. Each one, teach one. Don't just aspire to make a living. Aspire to make a difference.
Talk radio. I listen to a lot of talk radio.
95.1 FM.
People judge you like say they know they. People judge you like say they know they breathe. People judge you like say they get superpower. People judge you like say they know they weak. Nobody want it so well, you know they reap. Everybody is a hypocrite. Everybody is a hypocrite.
just they do like saying I them be Jesus. People so wicked but they so religious. Who they calculate, you know they show the figures. Who they demonstrate, where they run, leave us. People to complain but they fear to speak up. You don't want to die but nothing to live for. Christian and corrupt, no supposed be mixture. Real Musulumi, no supposed they teach job. Real talk, no be fight, rara. Everybody get the fault for inside matter. We they talk human rights, we no respect that. Who are we to crucify the homosexuals? Most of una done they involved from time. But no be anybody business who you want climb. You they form gentleman when we deal with you, but you go still go home, beat your wife to soup.
People judge you like say they know they. People judge you like say they know they breathe. People judge you like say they get superpower. People judge you like say they know they weak. Nobody want it so I know they reap. Everybody is a hypocrite. Everybody is a hypocrite. Everybody is a hypocrite.
That's the way they do like say you know be sinner. See the speck in your eye, know the pointy finger. What about the really greedy politician? Acting like you really care for the layman. And what about even you voters, where they act like say you only see two jokers? Recycle the same corrupt men. Later you complain, you say you hate the government. And the fake prophets, someday for convent. With underage boys where they make boyfriend. And you claim consent when you messing with a minor. Some say na devil box, so no tell it for their pilot. Because you know be virgin, you know meet them well. But the one with tie scarf, you know give them help. Or you say you know they drinking liquor. But your heart today evil, sure you see the picture.
People judge you like say they know they. People judge you like say they know they breathe. People judge you like say they get superpower. People judge you like say they know they weak. Nobody want it so I know they reap. Everybody is a hypocrite. Everybody is a hypocrite. Everybody is a hypocrite. Of course I know truth is bitter. Bitter get it gone, but bitter leave. What is the essence of debating when we know the truth in our mind? Why you gonna do like say you know the why you gonna do like say you know the love? You know if it be the same. Everybody is a
Born Sky on the beat.
Say one for the money, two for the dough, three for the shorty. Now I don't blow. One for the money, two for the dough, three for the shorty. Now I don't blow. One for the money, two for the dough, three for the shorty. Now I don't blow. One for the money, two for the dough, three for the shorty. Now I don't blow.
She told my love that love. She talks out the coco. She want know the coco. Yeah. But I want to give you some love. She talks out the coco. She still want know the coco. Yeah. If money no day, now wait till she get up. She tell me say she got run away. She got run very bad away. Yeah. As the rubber don't day, the baby come the mail. See the baby don't come again. You don't forget back in the days. I've been the beg you to try. Reason with me. If I don't get today, I go get them tomorrow. I be you and make a die. It no easy for me. If I don't get today, I go get them tomorrow.
Say one for the money, two for the dough, three for the shorty. Now I don't blow. One for the money, two for the dough, three for the shorty. Now I don't blow. Say one for the money, two for the dough, three for the shorty. Now I don't blow. One for the money, two for the dough, three for the shorty. Now I don't blow.
You see this life, no be so. I remember the month of December. No loving, no caring, no tender. You rejected my love cause I was broke. I've been the enter Okada high. From me to Mata straight to Alaba. How I wish, say, you believe me. Back then in Wagwalada, those days in Junior Puja, you insist that you don't need me. Girl, I try everything to spend my life with you. Yeah, I've been there beg you to try. Reason with me. If I don't get today, I go get them tomorrow. I be you one make a die. It no easy for me. If I don't get today, I go get them tomorrow.
Say one for the money, two for the dough, three for the shorty. Now I don't blow. One for the money, two for the dough, three for the shorty. Now I don't blow. Say one for the money, two for the dough, three for the shorty. Now I don't blow. One for the money, two for the dough, three for the shorty. Now I don't blow.
If money no day, now wait till she get. Now so she say she go run away. She go run very far away. As the rubber don't day, the baby gone the mail. See the baby don't come again. You don't forget back in the days. I've been the beg you to try. Reason with me. If I don't get today,